My first memories of Pope John Paul II would probably be seeing him on the news when I was a kid. You know, you see someone like that, so world famous, and you never really think, oh, I'm going to meet him someday. Well, lo and behold, here I am, 10 years later, and I was in the seminary. I had an opportunity to study in Rome, and a group of us were invited to celebrate Mass with him in his private chapel. When I first saw him, you kind of turn a corner and there are these big doors, and here he is in the chapel, and he's kneeling before the Blessed Sacrament, as he did every day. He did a holy hour every day before Mass, which was something like 6 a.m. Mass or something. So, of course, I'm just freaked out, like, there he is, the real man, the myth, the legend, he's there. I got to sit right behind him. I was as close to him as you can be in his chapel, just feet away. I could have reached out and touched him. Well, then someone came up behind me and tapped me on the shoulder and escorted me out of the chapel. They weren't speaking English. I didn't know what was happening. I thought maybe they were taking me to the Vatican jail or something. But it turns out they were just taking me to the sacristy. They dressed me for serving Mass, and they took me through a little corridor, and there I was, just feet away from Pope John Paul II. It was an unbelievable experience. I could just feel the holiness exuding from this man. I got to wash his hands. I got to give him the sign of peace, the hug of peace. But I think out of all of that, what really stuck with me was getting to know his heart even more. Being so close to him, you could definitely feel the presence of God in this man. But to know his heart, and his heart was that every man and woman is called to holiness. And there he was, really giving the best example that he could of holiness, and truly profoundly impacting history with this example of holiness. And his whole message, every one of us is called to that holiness.